Welcome back to another video, and today, in this video, I'm going to be continuing with the kind of, not PSAs, the last one was a PSA, but I'm going to be continuing in suit with the kind of ship classes and my opinions on different ships in those classes. So today I'm going to be looking at fighters, and I'm going to be looking at the fighters that I own, / the ones that I have access to, and I'm going to be talking about what fighters I enjoy and what fighters I don't, and what I like about them and what I don't like about them. So to get right started, I'm just going to jump in. So the ships you see in front of me here are the Aegis Saber, the Aegis Vanguard Warden, the Drake Buccaneer, and the Anvil Hornet F7C. So as I go through, I will explain what I like and what I don't like. Okay, so first ship I'm going to go through is the Saber. It is the fighter that I currently use. It is the fighter that I currently enjoy most. As you guys can see, I have a custom loadout on it. I have put tarantulas on it instead of putting the normal guns on it, but that is only preference. And that is something that as you become a fighter pilot in Star Citizen, if you choose you want to be a fighter pilot, that you're going to want to look at. You're going to want to look at what guns work for you, what guns don't. I've found the tarantulas help me in Arena Commander and Verse more than more Badger or Raiders would have, because they do a lot of damage. So the Saber is a stealth ship. It is, well, stealth in air quotes, but stealth. So it is built from the ground up to be a stealthier fighter. It is still meant to fight. It is still meant to come out of that stealth feeling and still have a fight and still be able to brawl with other ships. So as you guys can see, it's got stuff like the engines down here. You can tell they're very, very well built to disperse heat well. Up here, the engines are also very well built to disperse heat. The ship's very, very short. It doesn't have a tall profile. Very sleek. A lot of dark material, a lot of smooth lines and smooth curves, and it gives the Saber a better feel when it comes to stealth. It doesn't do stealth perfectly, but it does stealth better than, say, the Hornet Ghost. But it is also built to be a frontline fighter. So the Saber has basic one-person cockpit. It has a missile bay in the bottom that carries 2 sets of size 3 missiles, which are capable of doing decent damage. It can carry 4 size 4, or size 3. No, I don't want to say size 4 because that would be ridiculous on a fighter. But it carries 4 size 3 guns, has I think 3 power plants, and 2 coolers. So the ship runs pretty well. And it's personally, again, my favorite, and I think it looks... The second one I'm going to go on to is the Buccaneer. The Buccaneer is, and I will say this in the best way possible, the Buccaneer is the bane of my existence in Arena Commander and everything else. The Buccaneer, the reason it's so effective right now is because it has a little bit more health than it really should, and it needs a bit of a balance. As well, it's such a small profile to hit, because if you look at that compared to the Saber, it's so much smaller than the Saber and so much harder to hit, but it also packs 2 size 3 ungimbaled fixed mounts, 2 size 1 mounts, and 2 size 2 mounts or a size 4 mount, plus missiles, giving it a huge weapons payload that is capable of doing a lot of damage. But the trade-off there is supposed to be that it is easy to kill. If you get enough shots on it, yes, it is easy to kill, but currently it has more health than it should for the amount of weapons it does and the maneuverability it does. Because in a combat situation, this ship feels like an M50. I know it is short. It is short on speed. It is not as quick as the M50, but it feels like one. Hard to combat. Because if any of you guys have played and you have fought an M50, you know how painful that is, even with it having just 2 size 2 fixed guns. The Buccaneer feels like an M50 that's firing a Hornet's worth of loadout at you. Out of nowhere. And the third ship I'm going to show here is the Anvil Hornet. It is the F7C. I currently have no weapons on this ship because I've stripped all the weapons and put them on ships. But to be basic, this is the fighter you will see everywhere. This is the fighter you will see in most places, or you will see its bigger brother, the Super Hornet. The F7C has one seat, and it has the ability to put anything that can go on the Super Hornet on it. It, I believe, cannot equip as big a shield system, but it is still a competent fighter, and it will get you to the end of the day. It'll get you where you want to go. And it'll do that rather well. If you guys are looking for a basic fighter, this one comes in at $110. I believe it's on sale. Actually, it might be $125. I don't know exactly. I think it's $125, but this ship's on sale, I believe, all the time. It's a tanky ship. The reason it's good is because it can take a lot of damage, and it has a ton of weapon hardpoint. It, unlike the Buccaneer, is slow though. The Buccaneer and the Hornet have the same amount of weapon slots. The Hornet can, in some places, put a bigger weapon on to a slot than the Buccaneer, but they are very similar. The Hornet just rather would stand and take all your bullets and dish its own, where the Buccaneer wants to get behind you, shoot you a couple times, and have you explode. Personally, I like the Hornet series. I don't prefer it to the Saber, because the Saber has the maneuverability I like, and it's more fun to fly a maneuverable ship, but the Hornets are dangerous to fight again. And the F7C, it's your gateway Hornet. I will say it's the gateway drug to the world of the Hornet. Super Hornet, that's a whole other story, and those things are just stupidly scary in Arena Commander and in the verse, because you basically take what I'm showing you here, this Hornet, give it a co-pilot seat, give it a turret on top, and give it a ton more armor, and have it be about the same maneuverability, and it just goes. It's just... So I'm going to show you guys kind of the, and I will refer to it as an ugly duckling of fighters, because it kind of stands out. It stands out much different than the other three, partially because this is a size 4 ship compared to the other size 3 ships. This size 4 ship is the Vanguard Warden. It is the long-range fighter of Star Citizen. Currently it is having some issues with balancing. It needs a lot of help, but I will digress because I can go into that for like a full 3 videos, and I don't want to bore you guys. But I'm going to walk around, talk to you guys about what I like about it, what I don't like, and what sets it apart from the other 3 ships, other than its size and how much range it has. So the Vanguard Warden, again, is a bigger ship. It is an Aegis ship, so it carries the Aegis lines and curves. It is not stealth based, but it carries a stealthier profile, at least the way it is put together. It is built with stealthier curves, stealthier lines, more scan diffusing, stuff like that in the aesthetic, but it is not stealth, obviously, because this ship does not look like a stealth ship in any regard. So your weapons payload on the Vanguard is right here. You have 4 size 2 guns that are basically size 3s, and these are the only place you can get these guns. These guns only come on the front of the Vanguard because they are internal to the built on the nose of the Vanguard. As well, you have this externally mounted Gatling gun, the Apocalypse Arms Revenant. So it, in itself, is crazy powerful. It is amazing for ripping through other ships. That's basically its job, is just to rip through other spacecraft. And it does that job rather well. And that's on a gimbal mount. So you can put a size 4 on a gimbal or a size 5 gun. I don't have the size 5 gun for it currently, because I currently have the Vanguard on rental. But it is ridiculous. As you move back along the hull, you have 2 sets of quad size 2 missiles on each side. 1 on each side. And then you've got a set of size 3s on a 2 mount back of each side. So you guys are probably asking, what is the turret up there? The turret comes with 2 size 2 weapons, 2 size 2 ballistic weapons, pretty decent, not the best weapons, but this is the only ship other than the Super Hornet that is in a fighter class that has a turret that can be controlled by another person currently. We currently do not have any other two-seater fighters. So what sets the Vanguard apart here, other than its giant engines, its giant fuel tank, weapon payload, is the inside. The Vanguard, unlike the other ships that are cockpit only, you can get into the back of the Vanguard, close the ramp, and you have an entire living space. You have an engineer station, 2 beds, crew, you have a bathroom, and this is truly a long-range ship. You could live in this ship for a couple of days, about a week maybe, if you had the right amount of equipment, I bet. And it's got the bathroom here. Bathroom's got the shower on the toilet. You wouldn't be selling in here. You wouldn't be making the other guy in here unhappy because you're, dirty and unclean. But as you go up to the front, you get the same kind of cockpit as the other Saber, and you have a bit of dead space here. But that's because the Vanguard, being a long-range fighter, is built to take a ton of punishment. It's got so many obsolete systems. It can just fight and fight and fight, and it doesn't stop. That is why I enjoy it. I like it. Before they hit it with a giant nerf, it was my fighter of choice. Once they hit it with the nerf, I had to go with the Saber because the Vanguard just wasn't competitive anymore. But the Vanguard is ideal for anybody who wants to do recon, anybody who wants to do exploration while fighting, because it has a big jump drive, it has a lot of fuel, it has huge engines, it can go long distances, and it's also supposed to be very scary when you see it. It's supposed to scare people off. Whereas the Saber, it has a jump drive, it can get a couple of jumps, but it needs a carrier or a... The Buccaneer, I don't even think has a jump drive. It needs a carrier or a base to do much of anything. The F7C can be fit with a jump drive. It does not have one stock. It needs a carrier base. Super Hornet comes stock with a jump drive. It, unlike the F7C, doesn't need a carrier as much, but it still does need one. The Vanguard, as long as you know, oh, I can use this much fuel and survive, it can go long distances without needing a base. Best and coolest thing about the Warden versus those other ships all have escape systems that are not escape pods. They are ejector seats. The Hornet and the Saber have ejector seats. The Buccaneer does not, which is, I see as an oversight from Drake. Whatever. The Vanguard doesn't look like it has an escape pod or ejector seat, but that's because it doesn't. The pilot would get out of their seat and the gunner would get out of their gun and they would come into this room. This room here, the entirety of it, can launch itself out of the ship. It can drop out the bottom of the ship, and it has an enhanced life support system. So if you needed to, you could live in this pod for a couple of days. And that makes it so that the Vanguard, if shot down, your crewmen can still survive in the same situation they were in before, with the same accommodations. Like, the crewmen they could have a shower, they could, you have a little table if you wanted to eat something, you probably have all your food and stuff stored in lockers, you have weapon racks. You're not too hard done by if you're launched out of this ship. Which means that if you're going long distances, this is your ideal fighter. If you're going short distances, the Buccaneer's alright, but I would prefer a Saber or a F7C. If you're going mid-range distances, the Saber and the Super Hornet dominate. But it's all a game of cat and mouse, and you have to decide for yourselves what you think is best and what you think is worst. So I'm going to end this video here. Thank you guys for watching. Remember about the giveaway at 10 referrals. I'm going to drop my referral code down in the description. Once you guys get me to 10 referrals, anybody who's on my referred list will be entered in a draw for a Aegis Gladius. Thank you guys for watching. Have a great day. See you in the next one. Peace.